Welcome back to the Boss Mode walkthrough series. We are getting through Chapter 6. This is Sunflare Chambers Champion Mode. The mechanic here is that we are required to use all red heroes. Personally, I think this is one of the harder dungeons that you have to do because of the all fire. I do not excel at all fire heroes, mostly because the really good heroes, like if you really have a 5 or 6 star furnace or 5 or 6 star Astrid, those two can help quite a bit. So I went with a different approach here and went with a beast team. Now I knew right away that by taking this particular team, I'd have no heals. My Ember is really weak, so I knew that she wasn't going to be even worth bringing along. She would get one hit by pretty much anybody. So by bringing an all beast team, at least I know that I can get a few hog wild attacks in there. And ultimately, what I'm banking on this run is that Torchy shows me a little bit of love here, and will use his epic attack once in a while, because that's one of the only AoEs that I got, other than Mango Jaw's first move. So you're going to see Torchy using a lot of basic attacks, because literally every single time he attacks, I'm just praying for an epic attack. So the risk reward of doing that is it's pretty skewed towards risk, in my opinion, because his epic is fairly low. But if he does happen to pull one off, it's gonna be really good for the team. So you can see every time Torchy's turn comes up, how I kind of hesitate a little bit just to think about what I want to do. There's really no way to get through this one easily. I try playing it as smart as possible by using everybody's skills pretty much anytime I can. My main goal here is to attack whoever is going to be the lowest health, easiest to kill, or the least threatening. You can see I'm already on room 2, and Torchy got killed. I brought along 3 revive potions, and I'm expecting to need all of them. But if we can get through most of the level without dying too much, I think that'll be the goal here. But you want to be extremely cautious about running Burning Taunt on Pygmeus. I tried a couple of times using his taunt. It does soak up some of the damage from the others, but honestly, those Femus guys that you see now, they're immune to taunt, so they're going to attack whoever they want anyways. So it seems better to try and let the computer AI spread that damage around a little bit, and you might find it a little bit more beneficial. So use the skills that you got. This Intensify Burn works really well. It's actually Lupina's best skill, in my opinion. When you get to a situation like this is where I really felt my back was up against it. You got to really pray that you have a good hero roster on your friends list. I only have one person who has Nub Nub, which was moderately disappointing, but so many of my high level players are using Kozar and some of the other big hitters that Nub Nub just isn't popular anymore. So right off the bat, I have to refresh this one because I had used him a different time. And because I don't have a healer in here, we may need to call on Nub Nub again. So when it comes to this dungeon, if you're afraid of spending gems, you may want to save this one for another day. Now, if you really ruin out your red team, you could probably get by with less deaths than I did, and maybe bring along healing potions instead. That's really up to you. You'll see the... sorry, I had a mic issue there. You'll see why I chose to go the route of Revive Potion versus trying to do healing potions instead, and me relying on my heroes from friends. So once we get to the end of the video, I'll actually show why I chose to go that route here. Otherwise, it's just a matter of keep plugging away here. If you get lucky and get a couple of good hits in there, really it's just a matter of getting a nice hog wild attack every once in a while. If you get those double attacks, particularly with Torchy and even Lupina, they have pretty decent attack. Torchy is probably my strongest red hero that I have on my entire roster. So anytime that he gets a hog wild attack, I'm almost certain that he's going to kill whoever he kills or kill whoever he attacks. Um, Manglejaw, Manglejaw's best component, I guess, is that one, he has a stock double attack in his little fear bite thing. He's naturally kind of shifty as well. He tends to dodge more attacks than I give him credit for. So he's a decent addition here. But it still comes down to a little bit of luck. But if you ruin up your team, it'll take a little bit less luck than what I needed on mine. I ran this one probably 4 or 5 times before this run here, all of which I got to the end, but did not have a full hero roster, and I didn't want to waste my revive potions. Um, I'm rather short on revive potions, so experimenting around wasn't really worth it for me. Um, so take that with a grain of salt when you run this one yourself. The boss mode, I think, is actually a little bit easier than this one, even though it requires selected heroes. I feel like the team composition works a little bit better, but we'll talk about that one in a little bit. So basically here we're at the boss room. I don't have a ton of AoEs, I don't have a marked for death, and I can't do criticals against that yellow Zerk. So really what it comes down to is how can we take out that group there. Since I can't do criticals, I chose to do the flame attack with Torchy. You can see I don't think I got a single epic attack during the entire run, so I wasn't expecting to get one there. But now it's time to actually whip out the friend attacks. Once you get to this point here, and because I didn't want to use my revive potions, I'm just committing to the gem cost here. Get the 3-star and get out. That's my main goal here, is to basically prevent any of those guys from attacking, because I know the 2 yellow squinches do extra damage against warriors. So Pigneus is going to be getting hit. Lupina is going to be getting hit hard, and Torchy just doesn't have a lot of health in general. If the yellow Zerk does his earthquake, that's likely to do some damage as well. So the goal here is to clean up as much of this stuff as possible to basically mitigate the amount of damage that I possibly could take. So I killed all of the trash now, so now it's just the Zerk, which is a good thing. I have 2 revive potions, so I feel like no matter what happens, unless he kills the entire group, I should be able to use revive potions to at least get the 3-star. So Lupina does her attack. Here's the earthquake. And fortunately, everybody survives. So at this point, I got 4 straight attacks. Even though he did blood boiling, I should be able to kill him, which Torchy does the final death blow there. So normally, something like this, like I said, I was a little bit afraid of that earthquake attack because I've seen it do some pretty serious damage in previous runs. I was worried that 3 guys would die and then I wouldn't get the 3-star, but I really didn't want to spend any more gems. I didn't feel like that was 100% necessary. The goal should be so that you could beat these without heroes, but like I kind of advocate, when you're doing these boss mode runs, using heroes, there's no shame in that. Get your 3-star and move on. So going back to this here, there's something that I wanted to point out here. I only had 3 revive potions, so this is part of the reason that I was not going to run this one over and over and over. And I accidentally clicked into the store here. I'm just going to back out of here. But basically, because I only had 3 revive potions and I got to the final room with all 4 guys alive, I didn't want to keep running this dungeon over and over and over and over, which is why I used the heroes twice there, even though it cost me a bunch of gems to do so. The reason that I didn't want to do this one is because of my hero level. And not my hero level, but my hero power. Torchy, as I mentioned before, is my strongest red hero for the most part. He has an epic weapon. He's fully ascended. He's 6-star. He's got a mid-level epic, so even with about 15% chance, I should have gotten at least 1 in there. His runes are decent. They're certainly by no means um, superstar runes. I mean, still some improved on there. You look at the 1 star, 2 star. I mean, those are some very, very moderate runes. So if you take the time to use a runed up Torchy, you're going to do a lot better. The other reason I did the multiple hero summons, scrolling through here, and Manglejaw, 0 runes. Pygnius, 0 runes. And Lupina, 0 runes. So, what that tells you about this dungeon is, despite it being difficult for me, is extremely beatable. If you put some runes on any of those red heroes, you're going to have a lot better luck than I did. So the fact that I only had runes on Torchy and he did absolutely no epic attacks should tell you that if you're level 70 and at least have those guys 5 or 6 stars, you should be able to handle that dungeon with a few attempts. If you have a few more revive potions than I did, obviously things would go a little bit better. A little bit, you can test it out a bunch more times. But I personally was not going to take the time to move a bunch of runes around just for those there when I know I can spend 20 or 30 gems to use friend heroes. I know I'm going to get hundreds of gems per day by doing the tower anyways, so 30 or 40 gems on friend heroes is really nothing to me. So hopefully that gives you a little bit of insight to this one here. If you already use those red heroes, obviously it's going to be a lot easier for you, but by no means should this be an impossible dungeon for you to beat. If I can beat it with 3 heroes that have 0 runes and the 4th hero only have moderate runes, I'm pretty sure that anybody that puts some improved and greater runes on all of their heroes should be able to go through it and beat it on probably the first try, unless they get some really, really, really bad luck. Any questions or comments, you can go ahead and leave them below. Otherwise, we'll stop by for the next one, which is going to be the boss mode mechanic. Until then, we'll see you next time. Thanks.